So we're on installment number 3 of the big bore black rifle, black pistol project. And I'm excited today because we've got my man James from Trident Armory here. And this is his thing. This is his thing much more than it is my thing. He specializes in big bore black rifles, primarily the 450 Bushmaster. But it's not just a regular 450 Bushmaster, as if that needs any more horsepower. It didn't have enough for James and for Trident Armory. So if you like the original 450, you're really going to dig this one, especially if you went to the school of bigger is better. You might recognize the name Trident Armory if you've been following some of the projects that we did going back to last fall, where we used the Trident Armory smoke pole, the 50 caliber muzzle loader version of the AR. Well, today we're right around that 50 caliber still, but we're a little bit higher velocity with the high pressure 450 Bushmaster. So James, why don't you explain to us what we're doing with this project instead of leaving that information to me to let me screw it all up?
No problem.
Get it direct.
Well, frankly, the AR has been a great tactical gun for a long time, but we noticed early on, before the 450 was in mass production, that it was going to be a great cartridge for hunters, and particularly big game and dangerous game hunters.
Absolutely.
And the other thing we noticed is that when Sammy got involved in this cartridge, they kind of restricted its pressure rating down a little bit more to hold it within the AR frame in a forged or cast type upper receiver. And we just decided to use a billet. We had more control over component control there, quality control, fit and finish, things like that. And we could choose what we're using for aluminum in the receiver, so if we had any issues there. But what we're running is we run a plus P version of the 450 for the hand loaders. This thing shoots all of your standard 250 grain, 230 grain, whatever. Factory load's fine too. But where the 450 in the hunting world really wakes up is when you start stepping into 300 grain, 325, 275 Barnes projectiles. A lot of hand loaders that use these are moving 275 Barnes blue tip bullets at about 2,500 feet per second. We're moving 300 grain bullets out of this at about 2,480. And then we were actually working up a perfect deer loads, is what I nicknamed them, you know. But we're running about 2,100 feet per second with a Sierra 300 grain jacketed soft point out of this one. And it just seems to be the right tool for the job. You know, it's the hammer of Thor in the woods.
You bet it is. Now, I've taken a lot of game with the 450 Bushmaster over the years, including black bear, white-tailed deer. Adam took it on a hunt for boar, wild boar, and DRT performance, dead right there. I mean,
absolutely.
There's no tracking that's necessary with these. So this is going to be like the 450 Bushmaster that we're used to, except at a much higher level, higher velocity.
Higher velocity. Higher velocity means more energy. And like I said, it shoots your factory 250s at about an inch, inch groups per 100 yards all day long, real consistent with that. But we went, like I said, with a little tighter twist rate, changed a few things up, and been producing the same model now for about 8 years. We sold thousands of them, and they're reliable as a hammer. They work well. The only thing that doesn't work real well is,
I thought it was just me.
No, it's not just you. I don't think there's any secret way to move a bullet that big that fast without getting pounded.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it works effectively. And if you got yourself in a situation where you need high horsepower and a lot of downrange performance, it works great. Guides up in Alaska are using these. Nothing stops a bear better than a 300 plus grain slug at 2,000 plus feet per second.
And you've got the benefit, like we're used to with this platform, of that quick follow-up shot, which is and the lightweight, small, custom configurable platform. So no matter who it is that's using it, any one of us, it's going to fit. You can move the stock, you can change the handguard, you can do whatever you want. So you don't have to buy a gun that's an Alaskan or something like that, and it may be heavy and it may be large or it may not fit. This is going to fit. If an AR fits you,
it's going to fit.
It's going to fit.
That's right.
Cool. Well, let's put a few of these test rounds down range, and let's see what this is like.
Okay, sounds great.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Wow. 98 feet.
Yep.
Almost 21. Pretty stellar.
Very little change.
Like that. Get another 2062 there. That's awesome. Bigger is better. Too much is never enough, and nothing excels like excess.
Amen.
And I think you've got that written all
Amen.
over this. Now, the loads we're doing today, the ones that we've been shooting, these are some new loads that James is working up towards this ultimate whitetail, perfect whitetail.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with this perfect load right now, and I found a bunch of projectiles that I could buy at the right price that what I thought would be the perfect projectile for whitetail hunting in Maine. It's a 300 grain jacketed soft point from Sierra, and
So it's not 800?
once you get them up over 2200, they feel that way. But the goal was to find a 2200 foot per second load that's gonna have a good tight shot to shot velocity deviation and be accurate at the same time.
Right.
And obviously we still have a little bit more work to go, but we're
Yeah.
showing numbers in the 2150 neighborhood at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So we're right there knocking on the door of it, and we still got a little room left before we have any pressure issues too.
So one of my concerns over the years, and something that I don't share very much on here, are wildcat-based guns, because a lot of my friends here are like me. I'm not a reloader, I'm an unloader. And that's all I do. But you kind of have the best of both worlds with this one, because if I understand correctly, we can run all of the factory 450 Bushmaster that's out there, plus if you are into fine tuning and rolling your own, you can run a lot more high pressure rounds. You have a lot more capabilities than with a factory 450 Bushmaster from anyone else.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. Theoretically, that's exactly correct. You do have a little bit more ability there.
So you don't have to reload to get the benefit of this gun, but if you do, then you can really push the envelope with
That's
it.
right. And most guys that buy this gun are shooting the gun at whitetails, at black bear, at whatever, and they're running the factory 250 grain Hornady FTX projectile, and,
Yeah,
that's a good standard projectile.
That's been one of my go-to deer hunting rounds.
Absolutely, killer round for deer
Yeah.
hunting, and you're not going to track a deer very far with that round either. Not to
not
plug
at all.
Hornady, but
No.
it works. But what happens is if you do end up on that hunt of a lifetime, where you're shooting elk. You can go to that 275 Barnes, and roll your own into a 2,600 foot per second load.
Yeah.
With a projectile that you're going to be able to easily reach to 300 plus yards
Yeah.
and have far more horsepower than you'd have with a 300 mag or a 30-06.
Open the limitations
Yep.
way up of what is capable of
Yep.
doing safely and ethically.
And while you're out there hunting elk in grizzly country, when you do encounter a grizzly, you feel like you have a little more self-confidence.
Absolutely, yeah. Bigger is better.
Yeah.
Magnified, personified.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure.
Well, I'm excited to add the Trident version of the 450 to this. It fits like a glove. I mean, we've got the big bore that most people know about. The best known is the your 300 Blackout. You finally have an AR, a black rifle. You're up to 30 caliber now, so now it has people's attention, and there's a big spread on ammo availability. That's what got me excited about it in the first place. From 110 grain to 220 grain, from 1,000 feet per second to 2,100, 2,200 feet per second, and it cycles, which for you subsonic shooters like me, cycling is the most important.
Paramount.
But when we get up into some of these others that we're studying, the 375 SOCOM, the 450 Bushmaster, the 458 SOCOM, we're going to look at the 50 Beowulf, and we've got a couple other really exciting ones. This does all kinds of that and more. I mean, if you look at the chart of standard ammunition, we're already above anything that I'm aware of or that I've come in contact with so far for factory ammo, regardless of what the load is.
Oh yeah. Very much so.
We're at more. Even if you look at just foot-pounds of energy, we're at the top of the chart with the 450 for all practical purposes before we even start pushing into these.
That's right.
These
That's right.
heavier
At this
ones.
point, we're barely into what we would consider a plus P load. Yeah.
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 Excellent. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping out, brother.
No
I really
problem, man.
appreciate
It's
it.
good to see you. Good to see you.
Thanks for coming along with us today out at the range. It's kind of exciting. It's nice to have the designer of the cartridge, of the rifle here, so we don't have to worry about me screwing up something and getting the data wrong. If it's wrong, you can blame James, and I'll have his info below the video. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please click like, share us with your friends in your vast social media universe, subscribe to the channel if you don't already so you get a notification when we upload something, if we can upload it. Now, you may be sick of hearing this, or it may be the first time you've heard it, but YouTube is squashing our gun channels. Don't think for a second they're not. I've spoken with them and I've seen the new rules myself. So we're going to have to delete an awful lot of videos on this channel to comply with their new community standards, because they're going to enforce them retroactively if anyone complains about them. And you can bet your rear end people are complaining, unnecessarily complaining just to tank us. So we're going to get rid of those videos. We're going to move them over to full30.com, where we're going to be able to upload whatever we want to do. We're not limited over there by somebody else's idea of acting as a social justice warrior on a weekend. So check us out on full30.com. Then you can follow everything that we do. Visit us over on Patreon, where you are allowed to get involved with the channel to a little greater extent. And follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/guntestvids. Till next time, have fun and be safe. Thanks, brother.
No problem.
Awesome.
Appreciate that plug.